value of $100. Fathers love convenience too, so exchange the hustle and bustle of the shopping line with the ease and comfort of shopping from home. And you just might get lucky this Father's Day. Pay in store, online, or drop a check in the cable drop box. Dads, zero your May bill balance between now and June 19 and be one of 10 winning dads. Thanks to the cable. Good man. Happy Father's Day.
What a man, what a man. Go.
Terms and conditions apply.
The word for today is out of rageous. Not outrageous, but out of rageous. And next week it's gonna be Makazima.
Good morning and welcome
just
to another episode of Island Tea with your faves. I'm Ali and Kevin. I know we opened with Amali telling us some things. Was his mic muted or no? Okay, so you heard
It was live, yeah.
you heard the what was it? The word of the
The
week?
word for this week is out of rageous.
Out of rageous.
Not
Not
outrageous.
outrageous, but out of rageous.
And the word for next week is Makazima. So next week we'll be incorporating Makazima in our speech. And today we'll be incorporating the word out of rageous. Because based on the articles Jade sent last night when she should have been spending time with her family, instead of blowing up her phone, there were many out of rageous articles that she said that we're going to talk about today.
Many out of rageous.
Out of rageous.
She was several out of rageous.
So they want to give us the rundown for the show, Mr. Nasty.
But of
Ceremony?
course. So first we're gonna start off with Happy Father's Day in advance. Then we're gonna
Oh, but stick up in. If Merlin Saunders is listening, now it's time to tune out.
I come in.
We don't want to offend you. So Merlin, turn off your radio, please. Thanks. Can I continue?
So Happy Father's Day in advance. Then we're gonna talk about the second wave of 2020's biggest supervillain known as COVID-19.
I thought it was Donald Trump.
Competition.
stiff.
Competition is still by.
Second
America
wave.
dealing with both.
Buy one, get one.
Wow.
You sure they working
Second
together?
wave of COVID may be coming, but according to the Honorable Akila Byron, we are prepared. Yes. Things may be heating up between India and China, and our dear old Uncle Ben, he may have creamed his last wheat. Good one, Jade. I give you $10 for that. But we ain't got no money.
Jade wrote
So Jade wrote it.
Wow. Look at Washington.
The birthplace of
Oh,
of Wildcat.
well.
Then we'll talk about 12 bodies being found close to cartel territory in Mexico. Is this a real
That's news?
episode of Ozark? Dun, dun, dun. Happy Juneteenth. For those of you that don't know what it is, we'll tell you. Then somebody get them a Happy Meal because Americans say their happiness has hit an all-time low. Agreed.
All these things are out of rageous.
Out of rages. So we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back as we proceed with more Island Tea on tea time. I won't even bother give Amali the cue because he's not gonna do it. So we'll be right back.
So rude, so rude. Girl, I want you take off your shoes, run down the dance floor. Take the jamming, baby. I want you show me your moves, girl. Oh, you're bad, so take the jamming, baby. I'm watching you long time. Caribbean lottery has gone platinum with $250,000 to be won. So scratch and win. It's going on everyone. The stakes are high, so scratch and try. If you're ready for the big times, 25 chances to strike it rich. Glamorous life with a single scratch ticket. 250,000 platinum payout. 250,000 platinum payout. Caribbean lottery is gone platinum. Available at select lottery outlets.
This is an unprecedented announcement from Horseman's. Get up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. It's Horseman's Automotive Unprecedented Sales Event happening now. Yes, for the first time ever, you get up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. Yes, pay zero VAT and get up to $30,000 off on top of that. This has never been seen before. Unprecedented savings at the Unprecedented Auto Sales Event at Horseman's Automotive. Up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. Let me repeat, up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. Don't miss this, it's unprecedented. Terms and conditions apply.
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man.
The Cable's got a mighty good deal for dads who hate standing in line at the cashier. Avoid the hassle and be one of 10 dads to win $100 worth of Father's Day groceries delivered to your door. Zero your May bill balance between now and June 19 and get a chance to fill up your basket on shopexpresskb.com up to a value of $100. Fathers love convenience too, so exchange the hustle and bustle of the shopping line with the ease and comfort of shopping from home. And you just might get lucky this Father's Day. Pay in store, online, or drop a check in the Cable drop box. Dads, zero your May bill balance between now and June 19 and be one of 10 winning dads. Thanks to the Cable. Good man. Happy Father's Day.
What a man, what a man. Go.
Terms and conditions apply.
Caribbean lottery has gone platinum with $250,000 to be won. So scratch and win. It's going on everyone. The stakes are high, so scratch and try. If you're ready for the big times, 25 chances to strike it rich. Glamorous life with a single scratch ticket. 250,000 platinum payout. 250,000 platinum payout. Caribbean lottery is gone platinum. Available at select lottery outlets.
Make your house a dream home with a Horseman's Reno loan. Yes, come to Horseman's today and ask about our home renovation loans of up to $35,000 unsecured. Yes, home renovation loans for as much as $35,000 unsecured over 4 years plus no money down. Yes, you pay zero money down on your loan, up to $35,000 home reno loan at Horseman. So come, let's make your house a dream home with a zero down payment Horseman's Reno loan today. See store for details. Terms and conditions apply.
For more information on Community First Cooperative Credit Union's Townhouse branch, please.
Baby, don't make me spell it out for you.
First Cooperative Credit Union.
All of the feelings that I got for you can't be explained, but I can try for you. Yeah, baby, don't make me spell it out for you. You keep on asking me the same questions and second guessing all my intentions.
In our plywood section, pick up your cedar, birch, pine, and palm ply. Not forgetting our wide range of hand and power tools to enhance your performance and efficiency. Antigua Plumbing and Hardware Center, from foundation to finish.
COVID-19. Prepare.
Cover your mouth with the inside of your elbow when you cough or sneeze, or use a tissue and dispose of the tissue immediately and wash your hands. Be aware. How is it transmitted? Through close contact with an infected person or by an infected person coughing or sneezing, by touching contaminated objects or surfaces, and then touching your mouth, nose, or eyes. This message is brought to you by NewCo Limited in collaboration with the Ministry of Health.
COVID, social distancing, masks, new norms, protocols. Yeah, I know. Sounds like a lot, right? In this climate, life could get even more stressful by facing the hurricane season without adequate insurance coverage. State Insurance Company Limited, we care. We want you to live in a better state of mind. Get coverage with our homeowners insurance policy. It's one less thing for you to worry about. Call us at 481-7800 or satellite branch at 481-7880. State Insurance Company Limited. Live in a better state of mind.
Get your tickets, scratch and you could win it. Over 120,000 in cash. Caribbean. So run and get your tickets, scratch and you could win it. Over 120,000 in cash. Caribbean lottery. Scratch your tickets, scratch and you could win it. Scratch your tickets. Hey Barry, can't stop to talk. Rushing to the bank.
You're going to the bank, as in inside the bank?
Barry, how am I going to get my banking done?
Simple. Bank with the Eastern Caribbean Amalgamated Bank. I do most of my banking with the ECAB More Banking online and mobile app.
How does that work?
It's so easy, Cindy. I pay my APA bills and the kids' school fees with the app's Merchant Pay feature. I transfer money to my wife's account using BuddyPay, and I use the electronic funds transfer to pay my and insurance premiums and send money to my family across the Caribbean. I also send money to my mom in England using the wire transfer feature.
Wow. What about deposits and cash transactions?
Well, I do my regular deposits at the ATM and the business deposits at the night deposit facility. And I use my ECAB debit or credit card.
ECAB really puts the convenience in convenient banking.
Yes, Cindy. Think outside the bank with the Eastern Caribbean Amalgamated Bank. Our future, our bank.
This is Observer Radio.
Your voice counts. Your questions are answered. This is Observer AM.
18 minutes after 8 o'clock in Antigua and Barbuda. Clive and Ken waiting patiently. We do apologize, gentlemen. Good morning. Welcome to Observer. Well, welcome to Louisiana Link Up on Observer AM. Good morning. Happy Friday, gentlemen.
Well, good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning, Darren. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Doing fine. Had a bit of a interesting conversation, shall we say, with the leader of the opposition this morning. He joined me in studio, and very spirited discussion. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. I think I've earned my keep for good or ill. Hopefully for good. Mostly for good, I think. Anyway, how are y'all doing?
Well, we're doing fine. On a Friday morning, we broke into a program here. Some guys were having tea and having a chat, and we brought coffee instead. And just, tell them, have the tea. We'll be right back with you. Just give us a pause for a good cause. And
Okay.
we just wanted to hear from you this morning. And I can say to you, we've had the elections in St. Kitts and Nevis. Of course, you'd have read about the results. So it's now about getting ready for coping with the COVID-19 economy and the aftermath of basically the stress of the last months as to what direction will be taken, where will the revenue come from. And of course, we're depending heavily on the young people for their ideas and their entrepreneurship to see just what can be built out locally as the borders still remain closed. But what's happening in Antigua and Barbuda?
Well, what should I say? Well, the Prime Minister indicating that the country is likely to seek some form of loan to assist in weathering the COVID crisis or the economic fallout from the COVID crisis. The United Progressive Party selecting the first of its candidates that it plans to field in the next general election. And, of course, just a gradual opening up of more and more things being opened up gradually in terms of economic activity, in terms of events. There's going to be an event taking place. I guess you could call it a fete of sorts, but that social distancing is going to be implemented rigidly, of course, because, of course, government guidelines and protocols must be observed. So those are some of the main things that are happening here in Antigua and Barbuda, and that's in a nutshell, in a quick nutshell.
No, when you
we
say
do have our guests.
no, when you say you're
Yeah, go
having
ahead.
yes, when you say you have a social distancing and a fete, what does that mean?
Well, I wish that the organizers were here to define that, but they've assured me that it's going to be done in such a way that you stay in your car and still have a good time.
Oh, it's a virtual thing then. So you're not actually touching
Yes,
anybody.
a virtual.
Hmm.
No. You're actually going to a physical location, but there's enough space for people to be socially distanced.
So you can't hold on and dance and so?
Well,
You can't hold on and dance and so? What kind of dance is that?
Well, Clive, I don't think I'll be doing it. It's actually, at least the family version of this is taking place on Sunday, and I'm probably going to be tied up with my events or whatever is happening in my household. So,
Well, we have.
I probably won't get permission to go otherwise. So.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. But did I tell you we have Ken Richards with us this morning?
Not yes, I think you did. Well, I introduced both of you.
Yeah,
But
you know.
very quiet as usual.
And I did respond, Darren. I did say hi, hello, good morning. How
Oh,
you doing?
You're so mild-mannered.
Yeah, he's so mild-mannered. I don't know what's happened there, man. You send him back to the Queen, man.
Yeah, Clive.
Good morning, Ken. Anyway, listen, I need to introduce our guest who's joining us on Zoom. And he is, I'll give his introduction. Dr. Ellis Lorenzo Webster, MD, was born in Island Harbor, Anguilla, and attended primary and secondary school in that country. He was a recipient of a Government of Anguilla scholarship and studied dental therapy. He provided dental care for children in Anguilla for 2 years and then attended the University of the Virgin Islands, where he graduated in 3 years with a Bachelor of Science degree in biology. Committed to realizing his full potential, Dr. Webster attended and graduated from university with a Master of Science and degree in biology and a Doctor of Medicine degree as well. Just fast forwarding to the present day, Dr. Webster became involved in Anguillan politics in 2014 and was unsuccessful contesting the 2015 elections. He's the leader of the Anguilla Progressive Movement, APM, the largest opposition party in Anguilla contesting the 2020 general elections in that country. APM has a full slate of 11 candidates, and Dr. Webster and his team are committed to ensuring a bright future for the people of Anguilla, which used to be a part of your federation, by the way, Clive and Ken, but I'm going to introduce Dr. Ellis Webster. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Hello, good morning. It's a pleasure to be on with you, and good morning to your other guests, and I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. And yes, we have Clive Backus and Ken Richards, the two illustrious gentlemen from Win FM in St. Kitts, and they're also going to participate with me in posing questions to you. May I ask the first question, Clive? Shall I go ahead
Yes,
and
of
ask
course.
the question,
Absolutely.
Clive?
Yeah, man.
All right. Dr. Webster, tell us a little bit about your political party, how long it's been around, and what you think the main... Well, I'll tell you what, let's just deal with your party. Tell us about your political party and the stakes in the upcoming general election.
Yes, thank you for the question. The Anguilla Progressive Movement, which is the name of our party, was formed out of the prior Anguilla United Movement, which was founded by John Hubert, who was retired from politics after being Chief Minister 2010 to 2015. I became a leader then, since he was departing the political stage. And we decided that we would rebrand because we wanted to have a wider tent. We wanted to get young people engaged and involved. And so we have brought in young people. We have candidates. There are now 11 candidates running in this election. Before there were 7. And we now have 7 districts and 4 island-wide at-large candidates. So our emphasis is on making sure that the youth have involvement and that they have say in how the country is run, because we know that whatever decisions are made now will affect them going forward, and they will have to bear the brunt and the burden of any policies and laws that are enacted. And we have great momentum right on the ground in Anguilla, and we're up against the Anguilla United Front, which has been in government for 15 of the last 20 years. And we feel that we stand a great chance because we have a progressive agenda in terms of improving healthcare, in terms of revamping education system, enhancing our tourism product, and making sure that our young people have jobs and they have ownership in Anguilla, and we reduce the brain drain that has crippled us so far.
All right. Clive or Ken?
Yeah, well, a very good morning to you, Dr. Webster. Basically, my question is, well, everybody says you have to get the young people involved. You have to use the talent of the young people. How do you go about getting the views of the young people recorded and implemented via the decision-making process? Because the young people don't want people telling them what they want them to do. They want to hear from them, and they want to be included in how you arrive at decisions. So can you explain to us how you approach that, if you agree, that is?
Could you repeat the last part of the question? It's a little bit distorted. Go ahead.
Yes. How do you ensure you capture the views of young people and invite them to be part of the decision-making process?
So what we did before we got on the campaign trail is we went out to meet the people. And we met them where they were, in their homes, on the doorsteps, in the bars, on the beaches, and wherever on the block, even wherever we found young people, even in the schools. And we wanted to get from them what their ideas were, one, in terms of where the country is, two, in terms of how they have been affected, and three, what they would like to see happening in Anguilla. And we found that we also did a survey, and the survey basically showed that the main issue among young people in Anguilla, which is very surprising to us, was healthcare access. We felt it would be jobs or education. It turned out that number one item was healthcare. Me being a medical doctor made me happy, because that was the program that I was pushing, that Anguilla needs to have access to affordable, quality health care. We needed to have specialists here in Anguilla, so we didn't have to fly out our people for every ailment that they may, God forbid, have come upon them. And the second thing was education, and the third was jobs. And so we felt that we were poised, and having the candidates that we had already identified that were specifically looking in those areas. And so I think that has been shown as we've gone through the campaign up until present. Elections are coming on the 26th and 29th of June. We captured the ideas of the young people. They want better health care. They want an education system that prepares them for the global community. They want to make sure that their jobs in Anguilla. Also want renewable energy. That was alternative energy rather than fossil fuel. They're very concerned about climate change and how it is affecting us here in Anguilla in terms of these major storms that have come through. They're concerned about the ability to stay here in Anguilla, to make a living here and raise their families here. And those are the things that we have been pushing on the campaign trail. And we have found that young people have gravitated toward us. The momentum is now with us to take us through to the end of this election campaign and then to govern in the next 5 years.
All right. Ken, do you have a follow-up?
Yes, I do. Dr. Webster, how popular is Ellis Webster? How popular is the Anguilla Progressive Movement? You're going up against the veteran AUF. How are people receiving you and your party?
Just a little bit of difficulty understanding. Can you repeat that question, please?
He just wants to know how popular are you, how popular is your party?
Oh, in Anguilla, how popular is the Anguilla Progressive Movement?
Yeah.
Well, very popular. We are the blue team, and, we've painted Anguilla blue, essentially. Anguilla's motto is tranquility wrapped in blue, and that is how it's been. Our party has garnered the support not only of the young people, as we said, those we targeted, but also the former AUM, Anguilla United Movement supporters, have come on board fully. And we've also had persons who voted for the Anguilla United Front in the past who feel that the message that we have resonates well, and it shows that Anguilla has its brightest days ahead under the Anguilla Progressive Movement. And so that coupled with...
Yeah, sorry for that interruption. Go ahead, Dr. Webster.
No problem. Yes, I was going to say, that coupled with the dismal record of the Anguilla United Front, who has been in government for the last 5 years, it produces a manifesto which seems like they never opened because they didn't meet any of the promises that they made to the people. The people had elected the United Front based on this manifesto, which they had lots of good ideas, but they have not put any in place. And the excuses they gave, the banking crisis, Hurricane Irma, COVID-19, we got from the United Kingdom government £60 million to restore the schools and to upgrade the hospital and do many things, upgrade the ports here in Anguilla. And that was done in November of 2017 after Hurricane Irma in September of 2017. And they waited until this year, 2020, to start any of those construction projects, hoping that the people would feel that, now there was activity going on in Anguilla. But what about the last 4.5 years when the people have been suffering? And these are the things that have made the Anguilla Progressive Movement parties that people are gravitating towards our party, because they see that we give hope when there has been despair. We provide opportunity for success and sustainable success going forward in Anguilla.
Let me ask, to what extent is the relationship with the United Kingdom a part of the campaign discussion? Is that featuring at all, or that's not on the table?
No, it's not featured much on our platform. We do feel that there has to be mutual respect between Anguilla and our administering power, which is United Kingdom. And we know we're an overseas territory. And we appreciate the help of United Kingdom taxpayers who gave us the £60 million after Hurricane Irma, who are now agreeing to providing budgetary support after COVID-19 because, main industry, tourism, has come to a standstill. We do feel that it's necessary to be respectful. However, we are not making that part of our campaign because we feel that the people of Anguilla should come first. They need to have the opportunity to develop this country, and we have to give them that opportunity. And so far, we have to make sure that tourism will remain our main industry, but we have to have other legs to stand on. And one of the things we want to do is to expand our fishing. We have 200 nautical miles of ocean that's north of Anguilla that we have not tapped into as yet, that we will develop that. We want to make sure that also food security, that we improve our fishing. We provide fish processing here in Anguilla and develop marketing, and also a farming industry. And when we move to renewable energy, which will also help to decrease the cost of living for Anguillians here, decrease the cost of water, because we're now producing water through reverse osmosis, which the main cost of that is electricity. And so there's lots of ideas, innovative ways that we are going to stimulate the economy, get things going in Anguilla so that we don't become dependent on the United Kingdom government and their generous taxpayers to bail us out every time.
Understood. And Clive?
Wanted to ask, how challenging in the current COVID-19 situation do you expect the elections will be? What challenges do you anticipate?
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah. All right. Repeat that first, Ken, please.
Yes, I was asking, how challenging do you anticipate the elections will be in the current COVID-19 situation? What challenges do you anticipate?
Excellent question. We anticipate, well, we are 10 days away from the main election. The early election will be next Friday, which is 1 week. That's for disabled and persons, essential workers and persons older than 70. We do not anticipate any major issues now at this time because Anguilla has not had any positive COVID cases for almost 90 days. And we've been declared COVID-free. And so we have had internal liberalization fully. We still have the borders closed up until June 30th at this point, and that may or may not be extended depending on, the situation on the ground. What we were anticipating, though, that there could have been an issue with if we had community spread of COVID, then the elections have been delayed. There was an order in council passed that allowed the governor, if we got past July 9th, which was the time that elections had to be constitutionally held, if we got past that and there was community spread, then the governor could have extended until September 11th. But we don't anticipate that will be necessary given our COVID status at this point in time. And so we anticipate that the elections will go on as planned. We now have a new system of electronic voting, and that we've been getting trained on how to use the machines, tabulation, and all of those things. That is something that voters have to be educated to, and we continue to do that. And so I anticipate we'll have an election that will go off as planned, and I anticipate that the tabulation will be easier because now the machine will read the scores rather than having to count each ballot one by one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like music to my ears. I don't know why other Caribbean territories don't move down that road of electronic voting, but that's just my little mini soapbox comment there. So when are the elections going to be held, just so that our listeners know?
So the elections will be held on June 26th, which is next Friday, and that's for the elderly, the disabled, and essential workers such as police, doctors, nurses, firemen, etc.
So you voting next Friday? So you're voting next Friday then?
Yes, so that will be next Friday, and then on the 29th, which is the following Monday, will be the main election day for all other voters, and we anticipate will be, a good day for us. As I said, the momentum is with the Anguilla Progressive Movement. Our mantra is 5 votes, 5 votes. And the reason for that is our symbol is the boat, the sailboat. And that's because Anguilla's national sport is boat racing, and we feel a connection to Anguilla and to its people, not just to special interests or select few gaining Anguilla. The 5 votes is because usually there's now a district candidate. The ballots will be left side and right side. The left side will be district candidates. Right side is the at-large or island-wide candidates. We have in most districts there are 2 or 3 persons running in the district, and we have about 16 persons running island-wide. So we are saying you vote for the district candidate under the symbol of the boat, and then on the right side you can vote for 4 of the candidates. So again, we are saying to our people, wherever you see the boat, you can fill in the circle, and that will be 5 votes, 5 votes.
Okay, pretty clever. Cliver, Ken, a follow-up question or comment?
I'm just wondering what sort of campaigning is going on. Is it normal or is it virtual campaigning?
Yeah, we started out on October 5th of 2019 with, the graph out in the public after March 20th when the island was closed down, the borders were closed, and then we went into basically stay home, and the campaign changed to virtual. That continued where we still had different types of meetings. We had with block parties virtually, where we had a DJ who would play music. People were encouraged to stretch themselves because you're sitting at home basically most of the day. We then had Ask Doc, where this was a Zoom meeting with me and candidates, or we had guests brought in infectious disease specialists who would talk about COVID-19 here in the Caribbean or in the United States. We also had Loot Table Talk, which is we had a round table discussions that were then put out on Facebook and other social media access put through the radio, where we talked about our policies and the economy, and talked about what our plans were for the future. We also then had virtual rallies where we got together using social distancing in a closed space, and then we Zoomed our broadcast our meetings out to the public. But after the restrictions were lifted, we are now back out on the campaign trail, and we've been doing that for about 2 weeks now. We're back in the public having our rallies. We still try to practice social distancing as much as possible, but in Anguilla, since we have been COVID-free for this long, as you know, people tend to want to continue to get close and enjoy the momentum as we go forward.
Excellent. Let me ask you, have there been any polls done? I mean, you sound confident. You say that the momentum is with you and your party, but do you have any empirical data to support that?
Not recently, not since before we were closed down. We did do polls, and we were doing very well. And that was polls that were done empirically, and also in terms of looking at the crowds and those types of things. And since then, it has been impossible to get our pollster, back in because the borders are still closed. So we are going based on, of course, you have your voters list, you go through it, you talk to the people, see who's supporting you, and then you look at the type of responses we're getting from the people on the ground and on social media, and to evaluate where we are right now, and also the record of the ruling administration right now has not been one that the people feel that they have represented them well, haven't been given a mandate 6 out of 7 seats in the last election.
All right. But you would agree that it would be a heavy lift for there to be a significant swing from the incumbent to your party, right?
Oh, definitely. The shift is visible, and it's also palpable, and here in Anguilla.
Understood.
People are ready for a change, and our answer is change can't wait. And the people are saying, they're ready for change.
Okay, understood. Clive and Ken, final question for Dr. Webster as we look to wrap up. Clive, Ken?
Yes.
Oh dear.
Sorry.
Hi. Sorry, that's okay.
Yes, you sound very optimistic, Dr. Webster, but you are going up against Victor Banks. Is that correct?
Yes.
And
Banks is the premier.
And he's very seasoned. He's been there for quite a while. Surely you're going to have a serious challenge.
certainly we don't expect him to go away, quietly into the night, which should happen. I mean, he's been in active politics for 41 years. Certainly, we thank him for his service, and we respect that he has given the time to Anguilla. But we feel that, his time has come for him to retire from active politics, because we feel that he's lost the vision to help Anguilla to move forward in these challenging times. So the thing about it is how Anguilla is set up. He's running in District 4, and he's running against Deanne Kentish Rogers, who is young, energetic, intelligent. She's a lawyer. She is former Miss Anguilla, former Miss Universe Great Britain. She presents a formidable challenge to him. And, they're starting to get negative in their campaigning. We've decided to maintain the high road, which the young people have gravitated to. I am running in District, so she's running against him. He would be premier as leader of his party. She would be part of my party. I am running in District 1 against Cameron Webster, who won in 2015. But again, her record is, very meager, and so the people have moved away from her. They don't feel they got the representation, even as opposition person and opposition leader. She was not able to advance any meaningful motions or legislation or even ideas in the past 5 years. And then the Anglo United Front has put up a new candidate, Iris Smith, who is competing in District 1. And so we see our chances as being great to get District 1 and to win at least 6 of the even seats, and that would make the Anguilla Progressive Movement the party, the ruling party, and then we'd be able to implement these ideas that we have been informed about by the people for the past couple of years as we've developed our campaign strategy.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, but I told you, Dr. Webster, that this half hour will go by very quickly. Believe it or not, it's already 12 minutes to 9 o'clock. So we're going to have to leave it there. I don't know if you wanted to maybe just a final note or final message that you'd like to share with our listeners here in Antigua and Barbuda and those in St. Kitts Nevis as well.
Certainly. I'd like to say that the Caribbean, we are one people, one family, and we have to make sure that we integrate so that we can make this region a formidable region and have a say not only in our local and regional politics, but as we look towards the global market. If we come together united, then we can have a say when the developed countries make decisions that they have to, take us as part of the decision-making process. They cannot continue to take us for granted. And we have similar, goals and ideals. Tourism is our main industry. We have to make sure that these are developed as a regional aspect so that we can do better among ourselves. But to the people of Anguilla, I'd like to say, we continue to bring forth the ideas, solutions that the people have informed us of what they want to see and the Anguilla that they look forward to living in and continue to develop. And so as we go forward, and on Election Day, I'm asking the people of Anguilla to continue to vote for us. Mm-hmm. And to make sure that the Anguilla Progressive Movement is the next administration for Anguilla.
All right. I wish the same for you. Hopefully, if you are successful, that you would be able to join post-election to give us some perspective on how the election went. Well, whether you win or you lose, but let's hope.
I look forward to that.
Thank you. We would be grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this opportunity. Have a great day.
Yeah, you have a great day as well. That's Dr. Ellis Lorenzo Webster. He is the political leader of the Anguilla Progressive Movement. They're getting ready for elections exactly a week from this day. Clive and Ken, thanks so much for,
Yes, thank you, Darren.
hanging in there with us and posing those excellent questions, as always.
Well, thank you very much for inviting us. It was fun. And, of course, we wish you all the very best indeed from Ken and I. And, of course, we wish your team a great and successful weekend. And, of course, have a great time, all right?
And happy Father's Day to both of you. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much. And to you as well, Darren.
Happy Father's Day.
All right, good, man.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
Okay.
Yeah, well.
Bye, gentlemen.
Bye-bye. All right, that's our link up for today. The link up at Antigua and Barbuda Observer Radio, Darren Matthew Ward, Ken Richards, and yours truly. We're going to get out of here now, hand it back to Island Tea so you can get something a little bit more, tea-ish in the morning. You guys got coffee this morning, huh? You got coffee. And I saw you with a cup earlier, Amali. Is that the same cup you came with? Or that's a new cup?
Yeah, it's
a thermostat?
A
Thermostat? It
no,
has a temperature thing?
It's a map of the Caribbean. On both sides.
I like it. Okay.
On both sides.
All right.
It's just black because that's my favorite color.
Oh, brilliant, man. All right. I'll leave you guys still, all right? So we're out of here. Take care. Bye-bye.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
The Cable's got a mighty good deal for dads who hate standing in line at the cashier. Avoid the hassle and be one of 10 dads to win $100 worth of Father's Day groceries delivered to your door. Zero your May bill balance between now and June 19 and get a chance to fill up your basket on shopexpresskb.com up to a value of $100. Fathers love convenience too. So exchange a hustle and bustle of the shopping line with the ease and comfort of shopping from home. And you just might get lucky this Father's Day. Pay in store, online, or drop a check in the Cable drop box. Dads, zero your May bill balance between now and June 19 and be one of 10 winning dads. Thanks to the Cable. Good man. Happy Father's Day. Terms and conditions apply.
And welcome back to everyone in St. Kitts and Nevis except Merlin. We have a wonderful guest in the studio with us this morning. In the name of Mr. Carlton Dupont. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine and feeling good to be here.
Excellent, and we're happy that you're here. You've become somewhat of a social media celebrity these past couple of weeks. How do you feel about that?
I'm feeling good if it means anything to people, because I don't do anything in life looking for fame or fortune.
It's just organic every time.
Every time. I'm here and I have things reading here, but I don't have to have anything at all to be on any show.
Okay, we understand that. So we can jump straight into our question. But first of all, for those listeners who don't know who Mr. Dupont is, why don't you give us a little bit of your backstory, where you grew up, your childhood, etc., what you got into, what you're into right now in terms of business, etc., etc.
Young man from Sandy Point, at the age of 9, I start working for myself with the guidance of my mother. Every time I worked for $40 a week, I gave her 20. She told me, no, I want you to keep 20 and bank 20. I thought that was the best thing my mom had ever done for me. But when I grew up, in my growing up days, I never liked school. So I never went to school. Up to now, I'm not able to write a letter with the punctuation and the commas and full stops and everything. However, but I'm happy because I'm a spiritual man. I don't know anything about computer. I don't know anything about the internet. I can't take my telephone from my pocket and text you because I don't know how to do it. However, I believe in hard work. So I grew up at 9 working in the sugar industry at afternoon, weeding up the cane and so clearing the trash from around the cane that growing up. And then later on, I saw an old man pounding some metal one day by a place, and I asked him if I can come and work with him doing the hard pounding. While at his age, at 65, he would have done something else.
Right.
He told me he have never seen or heard anything like that for all the years he has been working. Everyone who come to beg. I came and asked for a job. So he told me if I'm serious, come tomorrow, and I never cut cane, I never work in the sugar industry again. And up to now, I'm here on my own, doing my own business with the help of a gentleman named Tango, who gave me $12,000 US to start my business. I've never seen anything in my life like this. He pulled me out of a crowd and told me he look at me, he listen what I'm saying to the youngsters, and he believe I can make something good in life. So I have some extra money. I'm going to take you to Barbados, get you a visa, give you $12,000 in your hand, take you to Miami with me, and I want you to buy the necessary things that you think you'll do business with. And from that, I'm here. I'm grateful.
Wow. And what business was that for those who don't know?
Say that again?
What business was that for those who don't know?
DuPont's Jewelry in the Pelican Mall.
DuPont's, so you're a jeweler?
Yeah, I am a professional jeweler, you could call it that way. I'm doing this for 40 years.
Wow. And some say you're actually one of the best on the island, from what I understand.
Well, I could tell you something. I don't make joke with people. And if someone brings something to my store, because there's not much competition, a job could cost $80, I could charge $200. It means nothing to the customer. But I'm training a young man now from Guyana. I'm putting that in his brain. Only take money from people that you're supposed to take. Because extra money would not improve your standing in life. Work honestly. If a job is $80, don't charge $120 because there's no competition. $80 is the charge. And he's coming on so good. I never thought this could happen. It took me 5 years to become a jeweler. A young man came from Guyana for holidays. He asked me if he could come to the store and look at me while he here on holidays. He has never gone back after 2 years.
Wow.
He has learned the trade in 2 years and more.
Interesting.
He's a professional watch repairer. If your glasses frame break, if it's expensive, you don't have to go and buy a new pair. No matter what happened to it, he can fix it. If you have an old clock, an antique clock giving trouble, he can fix it. If a pipe busts in one of my apartment, he goes and fix it. He's a plumber, he's an electrician.
Wow.
He's an A1 mechanic, he has certificates. He's only 22. I am saying these things this morning because something tell me that St. Kitts young people not doing as well as I think they should do. To me, the young people in St. Kitts have become too dependent on government. I'm scared But I love them, and if they listen to stupid me, they will learn a lot and try to be self-sufficient. We need more young people in St. Kitts and Nevis who want to become self-sufficient. You work for $900 a week, only live within 900. If you live 1,100, then you're always in problems with deficits.
Right.
So we have a question coming up.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay, good.
Okay.
Nice.
So the question is, recently you discussed Goatish. What is Goatish, the language?
I'll tell you what happened to me in terms of the brains God has given me. I have never thought of the word Goatish. But in speaking and want to make a good joke for people to laugh, Goatish just came from the vocabulary. But if I say to you I had it planned, I would not be telling you the truth. But it seems as if quite a number of people love it, for they come to the store every day and tell me how nice they feel. I believe in my heart the goat them really wanted to say with me, Harris again. But they couldn't do it. Because the goat that I'm making reference to, they were in Harris area, so they would have been hearing all the time, Harris again. Why the joke this sweet? Trust me. I didn't make it up. It just happened at the spot.
It just came to you.
That's correct.
Great. So how does it feel like after almost every time you're on the air, there's something that you go viral? You know the term viral?
No.
Like people sending around your video and laughing at the jokes.
Basically, very
like
popular.
you know how everybody coming to you about the Goatish?
Yes.
Like things like that. How does it feel going from leaving the studio and knowing that you got people at home laughing?
Very good. Radio has always been something I wanted to do. Conce Edwards taught me. And since my arrival at Win FM, I have learned a lot from Quintessential, Tony Fredericks, and most of all, Mr. Backers, in terms of how to perform on radio, even the things you know about people. Be careful still what you say. Backers once taught me once, and I will never forget this even if I become senile. Carlton, even if you know, I'm just drawing a reference, even if you know this particular lady going with this man, you have the evidence, you come, you say, well, I don't care when nobody say I have the evidence, but if that person who you speaking, making reference to, have enough money and time to pull you in the court, you're going up and down like a yo-yo throwing away your money with lots of lawyers and so, but you never had to say what you said. You see? So radio has taught me quite a lot in my life, and I learn all the time not to say certain things, what to say. But more and more, my radio programs seem to be becoming more and more popular. I don't know why. I have no clue why. That someone would ask me every day in the store, 10, 15 people, every day, when you're going to be on radio again, which station? Because I believe in every station. I could go on radio tomorrow, or to 106, or to ZIZ, or to 90.3. I just see myself though, and hope that I will become somebody, not just where you could get a laugh, they could listen to the things I say and learn something. Like a young man asked me a couple of days ago, what the verse of scripture you keep saying every day on the radio? Let the one who thinks he's standing be aware that he doesn't fall. So when I explained it to him, a young man, I was shocked that a young man would hear me read a passage of scripture on the radio, and he would come to me and ask me what it means. It simply means when we are getting up in life and moving on, we mustn't think that we're better than anybody else, because there might be some mistakes we're making and people don't know, but you know, and you're just doing it secretly. So the man who thinks he's standing, beware he doesn't fall. That is radio for me. Expanding and saying something that provoke the thoughts of another person or a different set of people.
So you think that's what keeps people coming back to listen over and over?
I definitely think so, 99.9%. I don't know how come to people my programming on radio so sweet. And there's no DJ in St. Kitts or Nevis has the stamina to hold me down on radio in terms of time spending. I worked 12 hours non-stop on 90.3 before.
Wow.
6 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon.
Wow.
6 in the evening to 6 the next morning. Non-stop, talking, reading, joking, playing music. Oh, God. Yeah, and I'll tell you the problem I'm having here. This is my brother calling me with an important call, and I don't even know how to stop the call and take off the phone. Well, I wish I had asked my wife to do it before coming. I don't like in programs, no phone ringing.
That's okay.
What we can do, right, is we can actually jump to a quick break if it's an important call, and you can call him back, and then we can get back to the interview. That's
No. I have enough time to call him back. It's something to do with a business I gave him to run in Nevis.
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt this program at all.
Okay, no problem. So often on your radio show, the one, I'm not sure which one it is because you're on all the stations.
That's correct.
You always mention, you know, how close you and Tango are, and how far back you all go as very good friends. And they could just mention Tango was the one who saw, you know, who saw the light in you and decided to invest in you so you could start your business and so. So why don't you talk to us a bit about, you know, you and Tango's history? Because Tango is a big community man as well, and I believe he's a Sandy Point man as well, yes?
Yes, we are.
Exactly. So why don't you touch on, you know, you and Tango's relationship and, you know, how you all met and how the friendship has grown over, you know, the last few decades.
I don't know how come Tango has seen it fit to allow me to be his friend. But I like the laugh. However, when Tango saw me as a young man in a crowd with everyone else swearing lots of bad words except myself, he called me and he said, come here. You know, I look at you over there and I observe something about you. I believe you can become a good human being. So you don't have to associate with those guys. We will keep talking and I'll help you along through life. And I can't believe it. Almost every time I am on radio, I have to call his name. It is amazing that through the years, the last 30 years that we met, how life has grown. I have a key right here for his house. I can go to his house anytime. I don't have to knock. Well, he's married, but I'm showing you the closeness we are. He would even tell me, don't even knock, don't even say you're coming. I will know what to do. If I go to the house, open one door, and I see certain doors closed going in the house, I know he's busy. So I like how the guy over there laugh when I say he's busy, because that is indeed a laugh. It shows that we are alive and we are thinking. So I will know that I shouldn't go. So what I will do most times, I will go back home, give him a call and say, Brods, are you aware that I was at the house? He said, no. Man, why you didn't come to the other door? I said, no, you know how we do it. That's how close we are. He believe I should come because if he's in his bedroom, I will just knock the door, let him know out there, and he will come to me whenever.
Right.
But that's how close we are. And sometimes it gets me scared. Why? I am not seeing the friendship in St. Kitts and Nevis anymore like Barker and Kelly. You heard about Barker and Kelly? You all look very young.
Of course.
Barker and Kelly was around.
Well,
Barker's wife is my aunt, Daphne Barker.
Well, let me tell you something about Barker and Kelly and quickly slip back to Tango.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I believe I'm so successful in life and doing better all the time, I have been looking at the life of Barker and Kelly all the time. And they have been teaching me some of the secrets why they are such good friends. And I put that between me and Tango and we build on it. But Barker and Kelly told me some amazing and fascinating things. I wouldn't talk them on radio except I talk to them first. And I believe those things that they taught me, young people should know about the relationship and how close they get on they have gotten along over the years. It is an amazing life. And you know what amazed me and strike me? How is it that they tell me these things? I am wondering how come every time Barker and Kelly, every time we get close, we on a flight, we go in New York, Miami, wherever, they would tell me so many things that has taught me to be steady, not boasting. I have never been boasting or anything like that. But let's flip back to Tango. Tango has taught me so many good quality things. And you know what I'm doing now? The things that I'm learning from the Bible that he doesn't know, I am teaching him.
Yes.
And he has been making some improvement on certain things that he did before versus now.
Right.
He has. So it shows the power of Bible standards. And one day when he tell me, you know something, I want to take you quickly to Barbados and get your visa and I'm going to give you your own money in your hand. He gave me 12,000 US in cash. And we flew to Miami. And he told me, now, I will take you around different places, but I can't tell you what to buy because I want you to do it from your heart. From that, I came back home. He told me, rent a place in Bastia and open a business in Bastia. The first day, my friends, I don't know you all, but I don't tell lies. The first day I open my business in Pond Road, I make the same amount of money Tango loaned me.
Wow.
The first day.
Wow.
I made 32,500 EC dollars. On the first day I opened a store in Pond Road. Thanks to the people of Newtown.
Yes.
I owe it to them. The people of Newtown, I don't know why Patches never let me run. I'm just joking. But it appeared to me like the people in Newtown really love me.
Mm-hmm.
And they poured out all day. We couldn't close the store till in the night, 10 o'clock. They kept coming. In those days, I was just starting as a jeweler, just joining chains and making little earrings. But the roll-ons and the grease and the braids and all of that, I was big in that product, in those products.
Okay.
I enjoy life. And I had a meeting with Tango some days ago, and I said, Tango, look at me. Let us pray to God that we will never fall out. Anything that you see in me that you don't like, you have to tell me.
Yes.
Because the Bible says it in Proverbs 15:22. It says, without consultation, nothing will work. In life today, those people who are getting into problem, whether it's husband and wife, teachers with students, we are not doing enough consultation. The other day in the politics, we had some problems. Everybody running, coming to me, telling me something wrong. Why no government forming? They were scared and speculating. What I learned out of the election pass, don't speculate too much, it'll bother you. Get to know the facts. So that's it. So Tango and I, we meet regular, not to drink and so. We are not drinkers. But if he cooking certain food that I like fish, he will ring me. I don't know if you're coming down later, but I'm going to leave a piece of fish in the pot. I'm not going to be home. That's how close we are. I can go to his house. If I'm down there and rain pouring, I'll call my wife and tell her, look, I'm not coming home. I'm going to sleep. I go to one of his luxury bedroom and sleep.
Luxury bedrooms.
Everything in there. The only thing he don't provide for me is a woman, because I tell him I like to look the woman myself. I enjoy here, you know. This is nice. It's a nice program. When the young man met me and told me I don't know the young man, but when he met me and asked me if I could come here, it's not a problem to me, especially if you're young.
Brilliant. Thank you for being here.
Love it.
Yes.
So we know you have a passion for cricket, and we know when you show up to cricket, you show up and show out. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you know what was most amazing in my cricket career? I think it's over now almost with the virus. When we were at the World Cup just the other day, when my wife would say to me, someone just send me a message from St. Kitts and say they see you going on bad in the stand. That would drive me crazy. In St. Lucia, the last test match that was played there, I was like the star of the whole stadium. St. Lucian want to know when I'm coming back, why I don't come back a little earlier before the test match and stay a little after the test match. Everybody want to take me out. Dominica the same. Oh man. Over the years, the World Cup here in 2007, that was, I think, was the best for me though, when I was able to tell the stands everything and they just do exactly what I said to do. To me, nothing beat that in my life. Cricket has always been the biggest thing for me, but I heard something yesterday, and I hope somebody who listening to Win FM can tell me about it. My understanding yesterday is that a gentleman from St. Kitts could have gone with the West Indies team, but for some reason he has been left out of the team. Berridge. I got a young man out of Victory in Sandy Point.
Okay.
I want to know if any truth in that, and if anybody listening could bring me up to date, will really tell me. But I don't really follow too much rumors. When, like I say, those younger ones who are listening to this program, anything you hear, pay less attention to rumors. Get to know the facts.
Oh, brilliant advice.
Get to know the facts.
Brilliant advice. So, you have a store down in the Pelican Mall.
Yes.
DuPont Jewelry. How long has DuPont Jewelry been in the Pelican Mall?
From 1995.
Wow. Wow. And what kind of future plans do you have for DuPont Jewelry? Or are you considering taking a step back and letting the young man, or whoever it is, carry on the legacy in terms of watch repair and jewelry repair, etc.?
Well, I have a son. Do you know my son? Elton is my son.
Yeah, I know him very well.
Well, I believe Elton made a mistake 5 years ago. Maybe the biggest mistake of his life when I went to America. Remember, I'm not afraid to talk anything. 5 years ago, I went to America. I had a lot of money. And I went to a school where I told them I would like to bring my son up. I got the course. I want him to learn to set diamonds, to make nameplate rapidly, like in 15, 20 minutes. You can come to the store, wait, a nameplate is ready for you. They don't have this system around here. But I wouldn't like to do it. Because number one, I'll have to learn the computers. And I don't wish to learn computer at all in my life.
Okay.
I don't want to know anything about computers because too many things I've heard computer could keep you occupied in. So I say if I don't know anything about internet and WhatsApp and grape WhatsApp, whatever they call them, it is better for me to live a simple, normal life. So let's go back to Elton. Let's stay on script. Elton, I came back home from Miami. I called him. I said, come here. I want you to go to Miami instantly. Stop everything you're doing. I have a taxi to take you to your hotel every day, take you to work, to the college, take you back home. I've worked out all the costs. I have the money already put aside. If you go to that university, that college, you'll come back in St. Kitts. You don't have to boast, but you'll be brilliant. He didn't take it. However, I went and got this Guyana guy to work with me. But 5 years ago, just after I told Elton that, he decided to open a little place in the Pelican Mall. Piercing ears and that kind of little thing, selling some jewelry. I said, what? Right after I told him to go to school, he did not do what I told him. But he went on and opened a little store. So I never pierced ears again after he started. So he make money in that. There's nobody in St. Kitts pierced more ears than me over the past 35 years. Everybody, the little infant, they call me to the hospital to remove rings from people going to do operations, everything. So Elton didn't take me on. He has now opened his own business. He came yesterday to me and he told me about a business he want to go in. Gonna cost $270,000. He didn't tell me the cost. But when he explained it to me, with my experience, it would not cost less. It could cost $300. Freight, duty, bringing the machines here. Guess what it is? The same thing I told him to go and study. He's now, apparently, he do it on the internet, read
online,
and learn how to do everything. Now he want to bring all those things in. Only yesterday, we spoke on that. So I have to search my mind. I have to instruct him. I have to show him what to do because I want him alone to take loans. If you have a child, you look very young.
Melton is the same age.
You really?
We was in class together.
Because looking at you, you look like a woman could bang you. So I don't really mean that really.
And did I bang me?
But you look young. They do?
Yeah.
Sorry. Make sure he's only one though.
Especially Jade.
Jade, don't do that, please. Jade, you look too beautiful to bang him. Please don't do that. So, my friend, the money, I can help Elton with the money, but I don't want to. Because it means then I will have a son who almost think that everything he wants, he come to daddy. No. Daddy's duty here is to guide the son. So Elton, you go to the bank, negotiate that loan, tell them your father will sign. You will get the money. But I want you to learn to understand the responsibilities of paying a loan and living up to certain standards in life. That's where we are at the moment.
Brilliant. Okay, well, Azim, let's pause for a quick commercial break, like one commercial and one song, if possible. We can make one this interview to end.
I'm enjoying it though.
I don't know when I come off here, Elton, I'm bust my mouth. I open a can of worms here. Elton, I'm sorry, my brother. I'm sorry.
You didn't deliberately do it. It just happened.
Deliberately do it. Yeah. Your father willful.
Yeah, I like that.
So we'll pause for a quick break and come back to some more Island Tea with Mr. DuPont.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Yo, yo. When I'm really on the slim girl thing, when I'm the big girl thing. I want to walk, I want to walk, I want to walk up on a big truck. Hold a girl behind her, she waist, put some fire up in the place. I want to walk, I want to walk, I want to walk up on a big truck. Hold a girl behind her, she waist, put some fire up in the place. I want to walk up on your family. When I done, I take a wine up on your family. Girl, let me walk up on your properly. When I done, I take a wine up on your family. I know you can walk, I know you can walk. Come and back it up, come and back it up. Like a dumper truck, like a dumper truck. Big truck. When we round the bed, we meet again. You do it properly. When you push back on me, front to the back on me, side all on top of me. Got the man there watching me, how you putting your hands on me. Fix this thing tonight, I know that you must feel right. I want to walk, I want to walk, I want to walk up on a big truck. Hold a girl behind her, she waves, put some fire up in the place. I want to walk, I want to walk, I want to walk up on a big truck. Hold a girl behind her, she waves, put some fire up in the place. I want to walk up on your family. When I done, I take a wine up on your family. Girl, let me walk up on your properly. When you're done, I take a wine up on your family. Now I say, which girl want wine up on me tonight? Tonight. And when I fix this truck, I'm gonna make sure your thing feel right. Feel right. Girl, you do it properly. When you push back on me, front to the back of me, side all on top of me. Got the man there watching me, how you putting your hands on me. Fix this thing tonight, I know that you must feel right. I want to walk, I want to walk, I want to walk up on a big truck. Hold a girl behind her, she waist, put some fire up in the place. I want to walk, I want to walk, I want to walk up on a big truck. Hold a girl behind her, she waist, put some fire up in the place. I want to walk up on you properly. When I done, I take a wine up on your family. Girl, let me walk up on your properly. When I done, I take a wine up on your family. Yeah, what you wanna do? What you wanna do? When I put it on you, when I put it on you. Me say what you wanna do? What you wanna do? When I put it on you, put it on you. Yeah, you do it properly. When you push back on me, foot to the back of me, side all on top of me. Got the man there watching me, how you putting your hands on me. Fix this thing tonight, I know that you must feel right. I want to walk, I want to walk, I want to walk up on a big truck. Hold a girl behind her, she waist, put some fire up in the place. I want to walk, I want to walk, I want to walk up on a big truck. Hold a girl behind her, she waist, put some fire up in the place. I want to walk up on your properly. When I done, I take a wine up on your family. Girl, let me walk up on your properly.
All right, welcome back to everyone except Merlin. We're back here with Mr. Carlton DuPont. We actually had a very interesting break here at Win FM. Apparently, everybody knows everybody. Apparently, Mr. DuPont knows all of our parents, and he's even good friends.
It's true.
With some of our parents.
Yes.
Well, we're on break. We were discussing, the problems that you have in your life.
Yeah.
And you say it's only one problem you got.
One problem I have in life.
Can you please
tell us what
elaborate
the
on
problem
that?
I love beautiful women. I love sex.
Mm-hmm.
But if you follow after beautiful women, you'll become poor. And having sex here and there is one of the worst thing anybody can do in their life. So we have to try hard and control that.
Why is it the worst thing that you can do in life?
Let me give you an instant what happened to me. One day, a lady that I like to see came up to me and she said, Carlton, my stove and my fridge giving me problem. Honest, this is no joke. I always have my checkbook in my pocket. I say, lady, I don't have to go home in your house to see those items. Go home and throw them away right now. I'm heading to TDC. 20 minutes after, if a truck can't come to TDC, I go Hasford. If they tell me a truck can't come, I go rent something, take them out myself and carry them to the woman's house. Things done in. A woman can make a joke with me and say, Lord DuPont, I'm working hard to get a piece of land. You hear? The land costs 87,000 and I only got 60. I say, well, look a check here for 27. You worried about you don't got your land?
Don't got the land.
That's the kind of life I live. I
Wow.
love woman. I got to try hard to keep from woman because my wife always have a knife in she bag. Always. And she told me it's not for me. It is just in case of
Just
any
in case,
emergency.
yeah. Self defense.
But you never know. It might be for you.
It might be for me. Well, I'll tell you something. This is what tango did for me, and this is real life. About 18 years ago, I was in love with a lady and had another lady in Saddlers. You remember, I tell you I get problems with women. And someone called me girlfriend and told her that I was in love with this girl in Saddlers. You know, my girlfriend heard we had been in Sandy Point, and she walked with a long knife in a piece of file paper. So Tango saw her coming to me. Tango shout out from his building in Sandy Point, Licky, run! So I was close to the Sandy Point police station. I ran right in the police station. When I look, I see the police, them holding the lady. I say, I wonder what happened. They take away the knife from her. I see them pulling the knife out the file paper. I'll get it in my back if it wasn't for Tango.
Wow. So he ain't just put you on and
He
support
saved
you,
my
but
life
saved
too.
your life too.
Yeah. Well, I trying to save his life too because sometimes he wife the feel to bang him and so because the things them he doing and I trying to tell him stop. Yeah, honest.
And you got to intervene and think to save your life.
Many times. Many times I've done that. You all must be careful though because you all look like fellas who women will go after. A matter of fact, I didn't even realize there's Rafa over there.
No, that's Azim. That's
Azim.
my older brother.
That's the oldest one.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
So how they could look so much like the father, man? When I saw him over there, I said, what? Young people in St. Kitts. We're full of talent in this place, you know. Nevis too, you know. Full of talent. So being young, you all have to be very careful what you're doing with your life now between 20 and 40. That's the real life between there. If you fail badly between 20 and 40, you're in big trouble down the road.
So I have a
and none
question.
of you 40 years, I am sure.
Not yet.
No, man.
Far from it too.
Just barely 30.
Yeah.
Barely 30.
Yeah. So
I'm Ali Saptel.
I said just barely. I'm 31.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Fair enough.
I got 9 more years to get my life in order.
Yeah, and if you don't, you could be in
Big
trouble.
problems. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 40 is the.
Yeah, between 20 and 40, and for a woman, if you see a young, nice, decent girl going up and she goes to the age of 17, 18, 19, and 20 without knocking herself up and down, studying her work, listening to her parents, that woman stand a much better chance of becoming a great individual than someone who knocking up and down. A young woman who goes to a teenage age without getting herself in problems stand a great chance between 20 and 40 of becoming somebody good in society, like Sylvine. You heard about Sylvine who call in on these shows?
Yeah.
And shows in voices and so? I have tremendous respect for that lady. We don't talk. But every time she's on, I pay special attention to what she's saying. Because young women can learn a lot from Sylvine. They should call her, they should associate with her, they should talk to her, like how I used to do with Suprobin Innes and Telka Francis. You have to look for people in society who you can converse with and get something out of life.
Brilliant.
So I have one more question for you before we wrap up.
Yes.
I mean,
No, he doesn't.
No, I'm self-employed. I have to tell you that my store is open and doing well right now.
Good. So a lot of people probably have the question: your nickname, where did that come from?
Licky
wow.
Bird.
Where did it come
Wow.
I was hoping you all don't ask me something like that because if I say it, it's so real, you all won't believe it. But it's from the same reason about the lot of women. Someone met me, a lady, I was going by this lady in Sandy Point, daughter, going around her daughter, and she said, "Mine, come here, listen to me as your mother. You hear where the guy named Licky Bird? Keep from him." That name came about on me because when I was small, I never used to wear pants. I only used to wear underpants, and sometimes the underpants them used to be slack, and me thing just moving, licking up and down in there.
Oh my
So
word.
someone saw it and said, look at him. We could end up calling him Licky Bird. Look at that. Just like that. That's where I got the name from. And I love the name so much. It feel like $10 million. As many people in St. Kitts and Nevis who listening, could you come to the store and say, good morning, Licky Bird? Don't call me Mr. DuPont because I don't like it. Licky Bird is a good name. It is simple and it tells about the man.
How do you spell it?
Well, I can't spell it because I'm not one who could spell. I'm not good in spelling. I'm learning to read now because at the age of 16 I learned to read. I have a sister named Ruby. She became so embarrassed when people say your brother can't read. So she called me one night, at the time we had never had electricity, and taught me to read under a lamp with a Nola book. I remember just like yesterday. So at 16 I learned to read. I'm coming on good now because I'm doing good for I like to read like 6 hours non-stop. I only pass for water and food.
Okay.
Reading has become a part of my life. And I want to say to any young person who listening this broadcast, keep reading. And this thing that you all doing here, when I walked through the door, I was so shocked. I didn't realize you all actually drinking tea here.
Yeah. We had to fight hard for it.
So where you all get the idea to do a program like this? Because to me, this is one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen.
This Jade, we have to give all the credit to Jade.
The young man over there named Jade?
No, Jade, the girl who just come in.
No, I don't want to come back in here while I'm here, you know.
Should I get a fridge?
Mister, I could tell you more. I have 2 houses in Birdrock, she'll get one.
Jade, you want to move?
Jade, you want us to go now? Can we wrap up? Hey, life is sweet with a little joke, eh?
Of course.
Yes.
Without it, life sucks.
It sucks.
It does.
Comedy
Yes.
is truly beneficial to our health.
But I have to listen to this program. This is the first program like this?
It's the first program. Well, no, we're on for 3 weeks now.
This is the 4th week we're on.
It's new, yeah.
Well, I will never miss listening to this program. And what time it runs from?
8 to 10, Monday to Friday.
8 to 10.
Monday to Friday?
Monday to Friday.
Where Win FM got this from? Or you all put it to them?
Jade. All the credit goes to Jade.
You all have sponsors and so?
Not yet.
Not yet,
We're working
No,
on
you all have to look for sponsors. Work hard because
we're looking.
work hard. This show is essential where you all can bring in different people of different organization and
Yeah, that's
roots
what we
and
do.
backgrounds.
That's what we do, yeah.
No. To me, this is off the hook.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yep.
Great.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we'd love to have you back.
Anytime. You only got to call me, providing it's not clashing with the
With
radio
something else.
program.
Right.
Because I do a lot of radio. I do 26 hours weekly on radio.
Wow. That's
Yes,
a lot.
26.
Wow.
I'm happy to be here and I want to read something quickly before I go. It only take a minute and a half. It is true that circumstances in life can seriously affect your plans. However, when it comes to your ultimate destiny, you do have a very real choice. In fact, the Bible shows that your future depends on the choices you make. Thank you for having me here. I enjoy every bit of it.
We love
Thank you very much. We actually have a caller before you leave.
Sure.
We're assuming the person wants to ask you a question.
Okay.
Call you live. Good morning, neighbor.
Yes. Good morning, everybody.
How are you?
Jopan, Azim, and the whole crew. Jopan, Mr. Jopan.
Hearing you.
Yeah, this is the man, Sim Burgers, the man who go walk on with the pizza kit.
Oh, yeah, I know you.
Yeah, I just listening to you, and it's amazing. I always listen to you anyway, but things where you say, and a whole, he just uplifts me every time. As a youth still into business, uplifts me and just motivate me more and more. You understand? And I just want to tell you, just keep on doing it. Allow the energy I got to be a man of flowers before it starts off. Not saying, well, not going to happen, but you just got to give a man a jacket what belongs to him while he alive, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Just bless you and keep up the good work.
Yes.
And you're educating a lot of people out there to be strong and to hold firm and to hold a steady meditation in life.
Amen. Thank you.
Rasta man without locks, you know?
Yes.
I just want to tell you, give thanks and keep doing what you're doing. And this show is a great show every morning I listen. every single morning I listen to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so we thank you, Simburgers, for calling in. Very, very good man, and thank you once again. As a matter of fact, it's a call you Licky Bud, but you've been so wonderful that we'll call you Mr. Licky Bud.
Yeah, I like that. Thanks for having me, and I'll continue to listen.
Okay, brilliant. We're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna get back to Island Tea, and we have our next guest in the studio with us, Dr. Garfield Alexander, aka Doc. We'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Buster, hold it up, leave the thirst quencher in my cup. If you have one, hold it up and say, Buster for the colors in my life. Refreshing and nice, and I drink that we will like. Buster, you're full of vibes, living for the color. And I'm black and white, we do what we like. We live to enjoy life. Buster, hold it up, different flavor. Load it up, load it up. If you have one, hold it up and say, Buster for the colors in my life.
Similar. Nah. Similar. Soca does give me powers. Yeah. Make me jump and fit for hours. Nah. Soca does give me powers. Yeah. Drink me rum and share with others. Fit for hours. Soca powers. It's a wonderful feeling to share with others. All my brothers and all my sisters. Today we making we name. We party in sun or rain. We don't care what the people say. Once the music hit my veins, so much powers I can't explain. Until I call and day when the Father take me away. All of my friends will say, I'm phenomenal. I'm phenomenal. We're phenomenal. I'm phenomenal. I'm phenomenal. We're phenomenal. We're phenomenal. Yeah. Soca does give me powers. Yeah. Turn me into masqueraders. Soca does give me powers. Yeah. Draw me straight to different colors. Masqueraders, we get me powers. It's a wonderful feeling. On stage together, rolling with banners with different colors. We crossing the stage. We party in sun or rain. We don't care what the people say. Once the music hit my veins, so much powers I can't explain. Until I call and day when the Father take me away. All of my friends will say, I'm phenomenal. I'm phenomenal. We're phenomenal. I'm phenomenal. I'm phenomenal. We're phenomenal. We're phenomenal. Yeah. Soca does give me powers. Yeah. Make me turn. Soca does give me powers. Yeah. Make we compete with each other. We party in sun or rain. We don't care what the people say. What's the music in my veins? So much powers I can't explain. Until I call that day when the Father take me away. All of my friends will say, I'm phenomenal. I'm phenomenal. I'm phenomenal. I'm phenomenal. I'm phenomenal. I'm phenomenal. We're phenomenal.
All right. Welcome back to our umpteenth episode of
Island Tea, and we are about to eat local.
And in the studio we have with us the esteemed, His Excellency the Honorable Dr. Garfield Ellsworth Alexander.
I hope you don't have goat mouth.
I hope I do, because I'd love to see you in one of those positions.
Oh, yeah?
Amali's thing is he love to put people on the spot, if you didn't realize. He just like to put people on the spot.
We're very familiar, we're very intimate.
Very intimate, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he knows I'm very inappropriate.
At least he knows.
Yes, politically incorrect. So, doctor, why are you here?
Let me just first say thanks for having me. So I think that can answer the question.
Of course.
Because I don't want to give the people the impression like I like to be in things and I just show up down here.
Well, I didn't even know you were coming.
Huh?
I didn't even know you were coming.
Hashtag blame Jade.
Hashtag, oh my gosh.
Blame Jade.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
But
So
we
outrageous.
so tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do.
That's the thing I've always like. People always invite me to speak and ask me to give a bio. And
We ain't asking for no. This is
Oh.
this is Island Tea. We do conversations, banter, chit chat. This is not a formal playground.
Oh, okay.
I want to introduce him officially. He is a Rastaman first and a doctor after.
Okay.
I couldn't sum it up any better.
So Rastaman
Yeah,
first,
serious?
doctor after.
I just messing with you, but go ahead.
I graduated in 2005, so I'm only a doctor as of 2005. I was always Garfield before that.
Okay.
And I think, like he said, that I don't want that to be assumed as a joke. I think Rasta and Rastafari liberty has been a big part of my life. You know,
Brilliant.
I grew into it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So the locks is just one manifestation, a part of marketing,
Exactly.
a part of branding, but it's a liberty
And a choice.
Yeah, it's not a religion, spiritual choice, yeah, but I think that found me a lot, just growing up in Market Street and Mac Night and having them touch my life, every aspect of the way.
Good,
and then
good stuff.
it becoming full circle by seeing that, yeah, definitely I could live this way.
Okay, so you mentioned Market Street and McKnight. That's the area that you grew up in.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about your childhood. A couple of experiences growing up in that area, and also why you went into medicine, and also when you were growing up in McKnight and Market Street, which is what, number one constituency. That's constituency number 2. Yeah, one in Newtown. Constituency
And
number 2.
Birdwalk and Frigate Bay.
That is correct. You let me figure out what I'm going to ask now.
Because your question is pretty
interrupting
complex
me.
with- okay, sorry.
Stop interrupting me, please. Doctor. Growing up, what were your aspirations in terms of career? Was it the same as it is now, or obviously these things change, as we
Right.
get older, as we mature, as we experience different things, obviously. So let's talk about that. Growing up, just to summarize, growing up, in number 2, growing up in constituency number 2.
Oh, no. He's leading the witness.
Growing up in constituency number 2, experiences growing up there, career changes, if there were any changes, and how did you end up in medicine?
Wow, that's so nobody referees on this program, like man.
And that will take us until 10:45.
Growing up, I think I went through all the phases, just like most persons. I remember, I think my earliest memory of wanting to be something that I'm not was looking at the dump truck and wanting to be that guy in the dump truck that pressed the button that allowed the trash to just be compacted.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah, I remember going and wanted to do that, and I grew up I would want to think of different St. Kitts, where even though the class structure was still there, it wasn't as rigid in that you were highly praised if you were just a hard worker.
Right.
So persons would probably say, I work in 15 years for this family, even if it's just garden. I work in 10 years at this company.
Yeah.
We hadn't transitioned into that individualistic culture. The person saying, working about it, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Because we really have to be realistic. Everybody can't be an entrepreneur. I didn't see any amens from the...
No, I
nodded.
Okay.
For those of you listening, I nodded when he said
I just
it.
wanted to make sure that I'm not alone. Yeah, everybody can be everybody can be a power speaker. Everybody can be a leader.
Everybody.
And the internet has brought on that culture of
that you must.
That you can be anything you want to be.
And that you must.
Yeah.
And that's false.
And we're moving further and further away from that interconnectivity. And it's kind of inspiring that Licky Bud was here before me, because he spoke towards that. And it was kind of genuine coming in and walking and seeing classic teacups around the table. And an elder sitting and just telling stories.
Wow.
You can't get more community oriented than that, interconnected than that.
Let that feel goodbye.
It's tea time.
It's tea time.
Right.
With our elders.
And then you came back from the break and you said, you found out at Licky Bud, you are your parents.
Of course, very well done.
So the interconnectivity is like that. I remember rooming in university with a guy from Ethiopia, and he gave me this anecdote one time where he said, they had this way that anytime one Ethiopian met another Ethiopian, he would basically sing the names of his generations from as far back as possible and come back. And that empowered him. It also meant that he wouldn't end up with one of his cousins.
Right.
Right? But we do that in our little island culture. Where
In
you
our own way, yeah.
where you go and talk to your grandma before and she say, no, not she. She might not give you the reasons why, or she tell you, no, not that family. Because they know. And I think even in our structures of government, that we need to be more inclusive of the elders. Not only to not repeat the same mistakes that we've made before, but also because even if we want to repeat something that failed before, we'd have that guidance.
As to why it failed. So
And why it failed, and then we could make the adjustments coming from there.
Good point. What do you think? I think this is a question a lot of people will be happy to hear me ask. What do you think it would take for St. Kitts and Nevis to legalize marijuana?
He just went left with that one. You see, earlier Amali gave me that layered question. That's a kind of layered question like that, because everybody sees and has a different perspective of cannabis and marijuana. And we've been fooled for generations, so it's gonna take a lot of diseducation and re-education for it to be holistically accepted. What would it take?
You jump the man by.
Yeah, it's a layered question. It has many different levels to it.
This is something that has to be done. Thank you so much for that. Tea looks lovely.
You're welcome.
I think it just takes the top, When we elect persons, we elect persons for their leadership abilities, for them to make decisions for us. We could criticize them afterwards, but these are the persons we've elected to make decisions for us. I think we have brilliant minds in leadership, irrespective of which government is in.
You mean currently?
If we have brilliant minds in government,
yes,
they are. Everybody sworn in on Sunday has a brilliant mind. Other persons will have different perspectives. They might want to add emotion into it, but yes. In fact, so if we're not a country with a huge human resource pool. So if every 5 years we're battling within the limited resources that we have, then we're really shooting ourselves in the leg. So it really takes our leadership to recognize that for centuries we've been miseducated. For centuries we've been told that this plant, given to us by God, given to us by the Creator, is illegal, is wrong. And even very early on, when we started to approach this plant, we're going to talk about America, who really started waging this war. Every scientific evidence told them that the plant is not wrong. Addiction is subjective. Addiction is the person. So we have to approach this about eliminating addiction and the cause for the addiction, which
and
sometimes could be
providing
poverty.
care.
And providing care. And you've seen it. So I think it just takes for that leadership to make a decision and make a decision for us on a whole.
Well, some would argue that, the folks that be, which are the ones that represent us now, and I'm not talking about just, the current government, but, over the past 10, 15 years, you want a very good point about uneducating and then re-educating, unlearning things that you have learned that are proven to be misleading or wrong, and then relearning, re-educating yourself on what actually is. But it's easier said than done, as I'm sure you would know. It's difficult for people who grew up a certain way and grew up with certain customs and with certain teachings to just overnight decide, well, listen, I was lied to. And you find it with things like religion as well. I mean, somebody grew up in the Catholic Church, for example, from since they're born till they're 45. You can't tell them nothing at 45 and get you to them, in an easy way, right? So personally, for me, I feel it's a bit more than just the powers that be to uneducate and re-educate, but I think it would take a bit more than that in terms of a new generation taking the reins of the country, who have a new outlook and a new perspective, a current perspective on the realities of marijuana, for example, to actually effect that change. So what are your thoughts on that? Just to summarize, basically they're saying the people who they know, right, may understand and appreciate that, yes, the research is showing X, Y, Z, but innately they're like, even though I'm being told that this is not wrong. I grew up knowing that it was wrong.
Cognitive
right?
dissonance.
You see, that's what.
and what you're saying is true, because when I was a part of the Marijuana Commission, the toughest talk we had was with the police high command.
Wow.
Like, we went to the priests and they were, yeah, we could see how this could work and a little more accepting. But for the police, who've been trained to battle this, who for them, this is a focus, and everybody that's associated with it is wrong. And they kept repeating one narrative. So you are going to just allow people to come and blow smoke in my face? So you could see it was a defensive
people
stance.
Smoke cigarettes in my face.
That is true, but one of the things that it taught me going around the nation and speaking to people about marijuana, that you have to be a little bit more empathetic about the other person's perspective and understand that there will be some dissonance. That for persons who've all their life been hearing one thing is not just about making an about turn.
Right, exactly.
And lots of us are not flexible in our thinking.
It will take time.
Flexible in our maneuvering to be able to just make an about turn on our perspective we had or an opinion.
It will take time. It will take time. And another example we can give of that is the whole issue of prostitution as well. There's some
they just sling topics inside here, right? Just woof.
Yeah, it's a casual show. It's a casual conversation. We're talking
Love
truths. And our fans and listeners know that if this is something that's incorrect, they can call in and say, by the way, Mali, what you just said ain't really true. This is what actually happened.
Yeah, I get abused off before.
Right. We're very open about that. Right. We're very open about making mistakes on here. This ain't a new show, right?
So, but are we ready to watch some to stop some of the stereotypes about, because you mentioned prostitution, prostitution.
And I'm getting into that.
Okay.
Right? And this is to speak to the example that you made of unlearning and relearning. Right? There are certain countries that have legalized prostitution, and people listening might be appalled, like, what do you mean you're legalizing? But like, that make no sense, right? But there are certain factors that affect people in these underground industries that we don't know about, and even if we know about them, the kind of stigma attached to this, like, well, it suit them, right? These countries that have legalized prostitution and drugs in some territories are seeing, first of all, a decrease in crime related to these activities, right? And secondly, treating them as illnesses as opposed to crimes. And when you treat something as an illness as opposed to a crime, automatically you improve the care for those people involved. So now you're finding that countries where prostitution has been made legal, the women are now safer, because to be a prostitute you have to have appropriate licensing. The company you work for has to be licensed as well. There are mandatory checks and balances that are put in place by the government to ensure these things, and as a result you have less women being beaten and raped when they're going on underground jobs, because they can't you can't go to the police and say, well, I was having sex with a man for 100 years and he banged me, like you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. And in terms of the drugs as well, you treat addiction as a health issue as opposed to a crime, and all of a sudden you stop having so many drug related issues in terms of abuse, in terms of overdosing, in terms of deaths, because now a person can come and say, listen, like, I have a problem and I need help, and the resources are there to help them. So you found a decrease in these negative aspects of these fields significantly in countries that have actually taken this route. But it takes unlearning and relearning, and I think that can only happen over time. So you're right, you can't just, it can't be a full...
It can't be a about turn.
It can't be an about turn. It cannot be an about turn, because that would be insensitive.
Okay, so you spoke of unlearning. Let's learn a little bit about prostitution in our Kittitian space. Because traditionally we see prostitution as you going by Tata, and for a lot of persons the stereotype is that there are lots of Dominicanos, what we call Spanish, coming in and carrying out these services.
Right.
But that St. Kitts is different in that is not the predominance.
It is not the
predominance. We have a lot of women, Kittitian women, who also
Kittitian women
exchange sex for favors,
whether
for money,
whether it be directly or
for
indirectly.
top-ups. Right. So prostitution. So we have to start to unlearn what is our perspective of prostitution in spirits from what we see on television, and start to understand it for what it is here in St. Kitts. And then, so it's easy for us to judge and say, oh yeah, that's what women doing. Okay, but why are they doing it?
The
Prostitution.
golden question.
Yeah.
It's a result of conditions.
Yeah.
And
So
what
you
is-
have
what-
poverty,
what's
you have
causing-
women who are getting paid half the amount for the same job. So how do they make up? And then again, when women are carrying the most of the burden of child rearing of the home, so you're getting paid less, you're getting less respect,
Can't find
less
the
love,
fathers.
can't find proper partners that will support you, and then you're not expected to make that money somehow. But yet every time you're passing the road, you're being seeps, you're being harassed, you're even being offered. You heard what your pants say about the two fridge?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a reality. Because when a woman gets a fridge, that ain't something she wants, she ain't greedy. That's something she's now taking back to the home.
Exactly. And I'm very happy you brought that up in terms of the economical and social factors that actually drive people into doing these things. I mean, I don't think that any of our queens in St. Kitts and Nevis wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to go cross by the bus terminal and see if I go find a man to get some money and thing, like out of so. It's mostly out of necessity, which is why we have to address the actual problems.
What is creating that necessity? What is creating that disparity between a home that's run by a man and a home that's run by a woman? Why is it a woman almost seem to have more needs than a man? Right. So before we just take it at face value and say, all right, she just put to prostitution herself. It's nasty, she nasty.
And we should know,
But remember, there's somebody when we have prostitution or bargaining for sex, we have somebody buying and somebody selling.
Yeah.
So what makes the seller more evil or more bad than the buyer? Who most times is who's soliciting. Because you will ask women, when men end up in the DMs, is usually already offering.
Exactly.
A trip to St.
Sometimes
Martin.
they just start there.
Yeah. Even in the approach on the street.
And that is why I don't ever judge women for this kind of lifestyle, because I know that it is different factors that are causing it. And these factors aren't being addressed. I mean, you have women working for $350 a week with 4 children, and they got to pay rent, buy food, buy school uniforms, buy books, and pay bills. It is impossible.
Let me show you a simple form of, you could end up calling it prostitution. Guy and girl are together. Guy and girl have a baby. Guy and girl break up, and guy is supporting. I don't like to call it support. I like to call it maintenance, because if he's just coming and dropping off the check, maybe having one visitation, that's maintenance. And as soon as she gets a boyfriend, or as soon as he can't get that sex, all of a sudden there's a trouble. And most women could give you a story like that, where as all of a sudden from the time she gets on your boyfriend, or she's being seen with another guy,
wanted no more.
yeah,
Yeah.
the money stops. So which means the interest all the time was just sex, and not essentially being a father, not essentially providing or the home. Because there's no reason for you to stop if that's what you've been doing.
Exactly.
Especially if you're beginning sexual favor. So in the end, you might be on Facebook abusing prostitution, abusing Kittitian women for selling themselves. Well, you're insisting that your baby mother or the mother of your child can only get money if she gives you sex, or if she performs sexual favors for you.
What's the word that we're using today? I make it up and I forget it.
Outrageous?
That is outrageous.
Outrageous. But we're a little pressed for time, so I have a big question to ask you. So Carrie Brewery joined with Ansa McCall in putting hands together in support of the heroes that are on the front lines. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Say that again?
The Helping Hands initiative that Jade gave me wrong information. Jade, you can't talk and I can't hear you.
Oh, I would have to put on my head.
No, Doc would know about that. Carib is actually doing that today, so I was telling you to just give him a little shout out. Yeah, not to ask.
Oh, so it's not Jade's fault for the first time.
No, but I asked her like 7 times, eh?
I told you to read it after he's finished.
Okay, so
she's just supposed to read it. This has nothing to do with Doc.
Nothing to so. We'll come back to that.
Oh,
so any quick plugs, things you want to say before?
Doc, I want you to come back.
We will have you back
to continue this conversation about the social and economic factors.
This is actually Amali's fault, because when Nicky Bud was here, he was like, I don't want it to stop. So he can't say no, he want Doc to come back, because he allowed Nicky Bud to take up my time.
So wait there, you ain't asked if he had to stop though?
Yeah. He was that good. Like I find him very entertaining, very much himself.
Informative though.
If I come back, I don't want to be Nicky Bud or EK. That guy from St. Paul's, Cackle. Like, I just want to be
entertained.
No, undoubtedly myself.
Okay.
Yes.
Like, and I tell people sometimes when you're an artist, you're allowed to be yourself. If you're a doctor, there's a predefined stereotype and box that people put you in. So even if you want to be outrageously yourself, or what's the word? Outrageously yourself, it starts to affect your other self.
Right,
yeah,
right,
it
right.
always does. But if you're somewhat of an artist like EK on the radio, you can basically be yourself.
You
like,
do whatever you want.
There's no holds barred, and you would almost think it's EK's radio station.
Right.
And I want to be like that. Just be
you
myself.
can be. You can be whatever you want to be in life.
No, my message is bigger than me. Yeah. So at times I would have to rein it in. Sometimes I have to curb it. That's just me, and I like that. I like not having to always stay within that box. Come out and go back in. Yeah.
Brilliant.
But I have to stay in a box sometimes because I don't only represent me. I also have a daughter that's coming up. I also have a family. I have a community. So what I do and what I say reflects on them as well.
Brilliant. Doctor, we want to thank you humbly and wholeheartedly for joining us this morning.
This is some great tea.
See?
Thank you.
That's the island brew.
That's the island brew right there. Ginger and lemon with a hint of green and some cheap ceramic. Well, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. We'll have you back very soon to discuss more. To dive deeper into our last subject matter that we didn't get to finish up. So we're gonna hand it over to Kevin for a brief announcement, and then we'll sign out from Island Tea.
Now I'll read what I was supposed to read. Carrie Breweries joined with Answer McCall in putting together Hands in support of the heroes of the frontline with an initiative called Helping Hands. And that was Island Tea with Kevin and Amali. See you on today's Friday? Monday. So
see you on Monday, everybody except Monday.
Stay safe on the weekend. I done.